But each year on this day, children and husbands, and I don't know why husbands get their wives Mother's Day gift. That's not their mother, right? The children and husbands will on this day purchase all kinds of special gifts for your moms. And if you are indeed a last minute shopper, let me give you a little advice. If you haven't purchased your gift for your wife or your mother yet, here's a couple of helpful hints. Things not to buy. Don't buy her anything that plugs in. Because she's just going to simply see it as a tool, right? That's not good. And if mom does not currently have a membership at a gym, don't offer to buy her one. Or equipment or videos to help her exercise, because honestly for the next 6 months you're going to have to continue to reassure her, because she's going to continue to ask you, why do I need to exercise in the first place? And I guarantee that you'll never have the right answer to that question. And if you ask her where she wants to eat on Mother's Day, more than likely what she will say is that it doesn't matter, you choose. Let me interpret that for you. You choose means you pick the restaurant that I like the best. Mother's Day is one of many throughout the year that we really should put moms on a pedestal, and we should thank them for all that they do. But you got to think about this. We must never forget about God. We must always remember about God. And God chose you to be a mother, ladies. And so, happy Mother's Day from all of us on this very special morning. And I'm excited that you're here. I'd be more excited if we had even more mothers here. But I want every mother here to realize how important that she is. To God, to her home, to the church, to society. Because moms are very special people. They have many abilities that dads don't possess. You know, dads are duct tape and baling wire. Yeah. Moms are the ones that possess the love and feel the love in the home, it seems like. And without the love that only a mother could give, I wonder what condition each home might be in without that love. Every home begins with making sure that there's a solid foundation on which to build. And my hope is that every mother here today realizes there's only one right way to live, and that's God's way. And it's why in Proverbs 22:6 it says, train a child in the way they should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Train a child in the way he should go. I know that's for both parents, but we're talking about moms today. So here we're going to look at what this says about God giving moms some very clear advice about training up their children. Because God's way is the most important way, and it's something that should be established early in life. Excuse me. So we might ask that question, what does it mean to train up a child the way that they should go? I mean, obviously when we're looking at Proverbs, we're thinking, okay, that he's referring to godly, spiritual ways. Apply it to our day and time, teach them the things, the stories, and the truths of the Bible, and give them the discipline that is necessary and the guidance that they need, and help them to understand the value of being involved in church and being involved with God's people and praying and things like that. But I think every godly mother realizes that when God's ways implemented early in the child's life within their home, these lifelong habits are established. I mean, I've heard story after story about the mother having taught a child to pray at night before they go to bed. It may have been that now I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep type of prayer, but they taught their kids to pray every night before they go to bed, and many times that is something that they continue to do throughout their life because mom taught them that. I've heard many stories. It's one of those things that was established for a lifetime for a lot of people. So when a child is taught from birth the correct way to live, by the time they become an adult themselves, they'll already be grounded in the proper way to live, I'd say. God knew long before science ever figured this out, that being a mother and raising a family is going to be very demanding. It's going to be a very difficult thing. So when I think of the word mom, it reminds me of the process that happens when a piece of coal is compacted under extreme pressure for thousands of years. The end result is a priceless gem, something filled with beauty, something that is full of incredible value. This is why I would say every mother would be considered a diamond in God's eye, and because of that, they should be considered a diamond in our eyes, because they get to handle life under extreme pressure. God gives each mother special abilities to help in keeping the home and keeping the family in working order. The first ability that is found in a Christian mother is her commitment toward God. I mean, it can't be a Christian mother without being committed to God. Every Christian mother understands that in order for her home to function properly, first and foremost, she needs to be firmly grounded in Christ herself. How well does electricity work in your home if it was installed improperly at the start? It either doesn't work or there's all kinds of problems with it over time, right? So when a home's first being constructed, before they put up the drywall and paint, every builder knows that there are some very important steps that need to be taken in order that things need to be put together before the finished product is revealed. And so building a lasting home begins with the foundation. That's the most important part. The foundation, that's critical. And then there's the subfloor. And then there's the walls. And then there's the roofing and the sheeting. And all these steps are important. But the ones that follow are just as important. You just have to do it in the right order, right? Remember when I said every Christian mother understands in order for the home to function properly, first and foremost, she needs to be firmly grounded in Christ? Well, the electric wires are grounded, aren't they? If they weren't grounded, there'd be a lot of problems, right? So they must be installed and grounded correctly to the box, to the earth. And moms are like that. She's the grounding for the family. It's very important for you to realize today, in order for you to be able to handle the shocks of motherhood, you must have Christ in your life. You must be grounded in Christ. And God is the only thing that will keep you organized when the road ahead seems too heavy to handle. So along with the electric wires being installed, the plumbing pipes must be installed. We all want indoor plumbing, don't you? Give you a little fact. Remember when Y2K was coming along? 1999, we were worried about turning to the year 2000 on January 1st that year. I read a deal they were talking that year about the things that the last century from 1900 to 1999, what was the greatest innovation that took place in the world in that time. And some people, they said, well, it's cars or transportation or the internet or the computer. You know what the number one response was? Indoor plumbing. We don't like to go to outhouses, do we? See, plumbing pipes need to be installed in homes for that to take place, because the world we live in is filled with all kinds of useless waste. And not only do moms see that, not only do they hear that unneeded garbage, so do their kids. They need to be able to have a way to help them understand that needs to be cast out. So these plumbing pipes, as you would call it, are essential in being able to flush away all the negativity that you hear about the world today. So you want to remember that a godly home is a clean home. And I don't mean uncluttered. I mean a clean home in terms of spiritual sense of what goes in and out of our minds. I remember in the 80s when computers were coming, Petra sang a song called Garbage In, Garbage Out. So you put garbage in, just like if you put it in a computer, it's going to spit out the same kind of garbage you put in. If you put garbage into your mind, what's going to happen? You're going to live a garbage-filled life, you might say. Next, don't forget to rough in some coaxial cables. I mean, we need coaxial cables in the house so we can plug the TVs and all into all over the place, right? Well, see, the thing is, it enables a person, this enables the mom to plug into God's Word, the Bible. And in the Bible are the directions that they are taught throughout the day. In other words, we probably need to be listening to some credible preachers often on through the week, or reading from what they have to give. So moms, you've been prepared for whatever life is going to throw at you. So I would suggest listening to people like Andy Stanley and Chuck Colson, or the College of the Ozark Radio, 91.7, and there's that one out of Arkansas, 881, I can't remember what they call that. But I've seen it time and time again. Moms need to be faithful to God. They need to continue to be plugged into God. And they haven't quite taught their kids or their kids just didn't turn out right even though they were taught well. And they've been devastated by the news that one of their kids has been slipping away from the Lord. But for that, to help avoid that from happening, mom needs to be plugged in, right? That's where they need to be firmly grounded in Christ. Keep them from falling into the world's trap. So not only are godly moms committed to the love of God, they're also a multitasker. They're a multitasker. I mentioned earlier that we all realize mothers realize the importance of wearing many hats in the family. You might say moms are the superheroes of the family. They've got the cape and in many cases, moms are the taxi drivers, and so they make sure the kids are never late for school, and after school they make sure they arrive at band practice and soccer practice or whatever event or circumstance that they need to be in. Moms realize, the difference that God does make in their own lives. So since she's the taxi driver, here's the plug for our youth group. She makes sure it's #1 priority that the kids don't miss out on FCC youth. There's a plug for youth next Sunday night. But these kind of moms are found in every church, aren't they? They know the importance of God in their life, and things there. If dad's not going to do it, you need to. Mom's an iron chef. Not because she has an iron skillet. That's why that's why her arm's probably so strong, and when she whips you, because she's carrying those heavy old iron skillets around. But she's an iron chef. She runs by the store. She's current and up to date with all the latest and greatest technological gadgets and games and things like that. They can get on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff too. And she also becomes a judge, like on the show America's Got Talent, because she takes time to watch every one of her kids' little acts that they're going to perform for her. Of course, she automatically gives them a 10. See, being a mother some days also involves implementing tough love. That's one of the jobs that no mother loves, I think. Mom used that switch on me so many times. I'm surprised I still don't have welts down here on my back of my legs. And I don't know where she got it, because I got switched by her mom too. She learned it well from my grandma. But the thing is, we should not feel guilty about telling our kids every once in a while no. In fact, it's essential. Sometimes, oh, come on, they're going to get over it, They're going to get over it, and in the long run, they're going to appreciate that you did that for them. I heard about a little boy sitting on the front steps with his face cradled in his hands, and he's looking forlorn. His dad comes home and saw him there, and he asked what was wrong. The little boy looked up and said, "Well, just between us, Dad, I'm having trouble getting along with your wife, too." Many times I often wonder where our kids today would be without the love of mothers, especially when they say no. There's a love that only a mother could give. In Exodus 2, we find a story about the love of a Levite mother. This mom's love for her child was so great that she was willing to turn her child over to the hands of the enemy in order that God might use him. Now, you might have heard of the name of Moses, because Jochebed, Moses' mother, was willing to completely trust God, and so in doing so, she saved the life of her son. The Pharaoh had just commanded that every Jewish boy, male baby that was born, be taken down to the Nile River and drowned. Here's what those verses say at the beginning of Exodus 2. Now a man of the house of Levi married a Levite woman. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid for him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. A diamond is formed when the pressures of life are present. And Jochebed acted without hesitation here. So what would it be like for us today if Moses' mother didn't trust God? Well, listen to a few things that Moses was able to accomplish, or things that happened in his life. He was raised in the home of Pharaoh. That means he had the finest schooling, the finest training that there was available in that time. He fled for his life to the land of Midian, which is across the Sinai desert. And so for 40 years, he was being prepared for service. He walked on holy ground because of the presence of God when he encountered the burning bush up on the side of the mountain. He returned to Egypt to deliver the Hebrew slaves, and he revealed the one true God to Pharaoh. He led the Israelites out of Egypt. It was a 40-year journey, however, but he led them out of Egypt so that they could cross into the promised land. He parted the Red Sea and stopped Pharaoh dead in his tracks. He brought water out of a rock, proving once again the existence of God to the doubters of the world. He received the Ten Commandments, and he visibly witnessed the power of God as God wrote those with his own finger. He trained his own successor, Joshua, who led the people into the promised land in a similar faithful way as what we see with Moses. And all these things became possible because of a mother's love for her child. I'm going to close today's service with a little story I found. But before I read it, I just want to say, Mom, you never know what impact you have on your children by allowing God into your home. The mother walked into her young son's bedroom just in time to hear him begin his nighttime prayers. He said, Andy, please forgive me for what I did today. And Andy, please keep my mommy and daddy safe. After he finished, she asked him who Andy was. He told her that was God's name. And she asked him how he knew that. He said that in church they sang to Andy. They would sing, Andy walks with me, Andy talks with me. Sometimes the kids are trying, but they don't quite get it, do they? The kids are awesome. I love kids. I love my kids. I love my grandkids. I love being around children. I love working with kids. And I have my whole adult life worked with kids in some way or some form. I love all that. But I am truly thankful to God for moms being allowed into our lives. Because I think they bring a balance to guys like me. The dads and granddads that are trying to be more fun than they are serious. But I think as we get to this point, as we think about our moms and their relationship with God, we ought to compare that a little bit to the love of God for his own children. Because God always provides. God always leads. God always shows his love to those who are his. I think sometimes the picture of that love is exhibited in how moms are meant to care for their children. Because moms would be like Jesus was when he went to the cross. He sacrificed his life for us. And our mothers have and would if necessary. Thank you, God.